Alright, going live for another sort of improvised one. Well, there is good news, and at the same time, feeling good enough to do that. I guess this is how it's gonna be for the next couple weeks at least. Hopefully, in 2 weeks we'll be good again. If not before that. So, we had a lot of new stuff from Steam, hardware, which is insane. Of course, if like me you had been looking into the various innovations in VR and the leaks that had been happening, you knew that something like the Decade, which is now called, how did they call it in the end? Frame. The Steam Frame was coming out eventually. But what's incredible is that they're not selling it as a package. You don't need to buy the VR headset plus the console plus the controllers. You can buy either one separately and integrate it into your already existing ecosystem. Like if you have a computer, a laptop, etc. You can even play on your phone. Like it's the perfect hardware. I literally will have no need to go and buy another console from any other company in the future, because even Nintendo, other than like what the Breath of the Wild, I haven't been very impressed with what they've been doing recently. Sony brings all the exclusives to the Steam ecosystem eventually. Xbox, we don't even need to mention. And anyways, they do have the whole how do you call it again? Game Pass, which will certainly be available, might be available through Steam, since it's a open ecosystem. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting time in the gaming world, and all that is starting beginning 2026. That's right, they announced it yesterday or today, and it's coming early 2026. We don't know the prices though. Oh well, maybe one of these videos I'm about to check out will actually have the prices for us. So let's get started. But first of all, thanks to my current stream boss, Nutty, aka Jodie. She is an amazing artist who does animation and more. You can check out her work in the description below on her website or on her very own YouTube channel. Thank you also to my current subscribers and Patreons, Wolf Emerald 214, Scarlord, Crash Psycho, Renamu, and Nutty. And yeah, we'll be starting because something that I didn't even expect, and this is incredible because once again, wouldn't normally happen with the Sony, Xbox, Nintendo. You wouldn't see something like this, but the hardware was announced, and it seems that some YouTubers have actually already tested it out. So we're going to get feedback directly from them, which is pretty incredible. Yeah, so I guess let's just get started.
It's faster, more accurate, and
Wait, is this the beginning?
everyone knows.
Yeah, okay, good. Let's just get started then.
Outside-in tracking is just better for VR gaming. It's faster, more accurate, and it's more reliable.
Yeah, but it's funny because anyone who knows nothing about VR wouldn't even understand the difference. But yeah, inside-out tracking versus outside tracking is basically the difference between getting a headset like to Meta Quest and being able to just put it on and start playing, basically, with a minimum effort. And outside tracking, it means having to place trackers in various places of your room that will track you precisely, yes, but it's a lot of work to put in, initially at least. And that's the thing, I was certain that consumers would not like that, and inside-out tracking would be the best. But anyways.
Well, here's the thing. Valve isn't everyone, and the new Steam Frame took my expectations of a lousy, flaky experience in a standalone VR headset with camera-based positional tracking and blew them away. They also blew away my expectations for their new Steam Machine and Steam Controller, but that's a separate video.
That Steam Machine looks so good. it's so fascinating that no one has made something like this before. No one. And expanding the memory is easy. SD cards, just like that. And you can customize the faceplate, which is insane.
We'll have that link down below. In 2 words or less, this thing is impossibly good. And, maybe more importantly, impossibly versatile. They managed to make it lighter, more comfortable, and higher fidelity than the OG Index for PC VR gaming. They managed to bolt an ARM-based computer to it that runs mobile VR games and applications. You can even just sideload an Android APK. And the whole thing runs freaking SteamOS with a new element to their Proton compatibility layer called FEX that allows you to play desktop VR games.
Yeah.
We're talking x86
That's so
Windows
good.
VR games on your ARM Linux VR headset. I would mic drop this, but I think I'd get in trouble.
Yes.
The last part, I wouldn't believe if I didn't experience it for myself. But they did all of this with latency that is indistinguishable from the best VR experiences that I've had. But is it indistinguishable from the best Segway I've ever had? It's our sponsor, Jawa. Jawa is your one-stop shop to buy and sell used gaming equipment
smooth
and
with those
PC
transitions.
parts. If you're looking to build a new computer or upgrade your current one, check them out today using our link in the video description.
Hear that? That's the sound of the holidays coming. Because if you spend over
Because it's
$100
past
at
November
Xbox.com,
1st.
you'll get a 1 in 10 chance of winning something big. You can win a pair of Sennheiser HD 550 headphones. Or if you're really lucky, you may be selected to win a brand new ROG Xbox Ally X. This is fun. But hurry, you only have until November 26th.
Yeah, when you-
Shop now at LTTstore.com.
I guess technically you could still use something like the Rogue to play with. Yeah, because the Rogue is basically a portable PC. So you could still choose whichever you wanted if you wanted something like that. But what's the most incredible about this, and what I guess, well, Nintendo in a sense did it, but it's not very powerful. Even the Switch 2 is not insanely powerful. Yeah, the perfect ecosystem is about to come to life.
Frame is a fundamental shift for Valve. Rather than being an accessory for your gaming PC, it's meant to be a standalone device
Yeah.
that can also be enjoyed alongside your PC using wireless streaming for VR.
Which is exactly how it
sounds,
needed to be.
Horrible.
No,
Somehow.
it sounds amazing. I don't understand how people didn't understand this. That's exactly what you needed for the perfect VR headsets. And Valve understood this years ago when, Clyde had been working on this for what, 7 years or something like that? They understood it. But I'm surprised that so many people didn't get it. How this is was the perfect form that you needed. Because I think something that a lot of people forget about, especially those who are into like high-end tech, it's the accessibility. If accessibility is hard, it's not only is it going to be a less successful product, but even those using the product will feel less connected to it. If it's accessible, people can use it in even more environments, in more situations. I mean, like this one, you could basically use it anywhere. You could take a review on the train, the plane. Of course, the MetaQuest has something like that, but I mean, the MetaQuest is a closed system. I'm guessing this is even more powerful than the MetaQuest. The MetaQuest, she had 256 gigabytes or 128 gigabytes. And then you couldn't expand it beyond that. But with this, with the Vive, with the Steam VR headset, you'll be able to go past that with a simple SD card.
It's not. Let's take a closer look at the hardware. Then we can talk about how they did it. The headset that I'm holding is actually made up of multiple components. The core module contains the actual computer and weighs under 190 grams.
Damn,
And
that's
next is
10.
an audio module that can be detached with 3 clips under the front gasket.
Nice.
Then there's
And it's modulable, which was the one thing I absolutely wanted in a VR headset. Once again, I don't understand how no one else did this.
Head strap, and a battery pack that is cleverly
Yeah.
positioned at the back.
It's obvious. It's obvious that it should be in the fucking back.
To help counterbalance the device, improving comfort, and also to make it a little bit easier to cable manage if you wanted to have an external battery pack. The optics are, simply put, flipping incredible. Like other leading headsets, they're using pancake lenses, but unlike some other headsets that use pancake lenses, there was very little in the way of internal reflections visible in the demo applications that I use today. It is possible that with brighter light sources, it could show up a bit more, but that's going to be something that I'll have to save for the full review.
Yeah.
What I can tell you is that under each lens is a 2160 by 2160 LCD display that's capable of anywhere from 72 Hertz, presumably for power saving, up to 120 Hertz with a 144 Hertz experimental mode, just like we had on the Valve Index. As for why Valve decided to use LCD rather than OLED, it basically came down to the light losses due to the pancake lenses. Ooh, since I'm pointing at them, on the inside of each lens, maybe you could even see them if you went cross-eyed enough, is an eye tracker that's obviously going to be great for social VR experiences, but perhaps more importantly, enables Valve to do what they call foveated streaming, which
Foveated
I'm gonna have to
rendering.
explain later because it gets a little in the weeds. First, let's take a look at the controllers. Valve fully acknowledges that these are very simple.
Oh, I guess I know why they said foveated streaming, because it's not just maybe also for when the image is coming from the PC specifically. Yeah.
To other designs in the market, but they wanted something that was both great for VR and also great for your non-VR applications if you just want to use your headset as a giant virtual display. And they still managed to add some Valve touches to them, putting capacitive sensing on all input surfaces and on the grips, so you can still do 5-finger tracking just
And
like
it
the
comes
knuckles
with
controllers
grips.
from the Valve Index. They have 2-stage actuating triggers, 2-stage actuating grips, which unlocks a ton of control customization. They use the same magnetic thumbstick as the new Steam controller for better reliability and a very small dead zone. And they each have their own independent gyros that can be rebound for aiming or whatever you want. I can't tell if they were being suggestive there, given the popularity of certain VR applications, but I can't say for sure that they weren't. Both controllers have an integrated IMU to track positional data and 18 infrared LEDs that can be tracked by the 4 high field of view cameras that are integrated into the frame's core module. These were strategically positioned so that even if you were, say for example, drawing an arrow from a quiver, it should be able to maintain tracking. Now, I didn't get a chance to try that, nor did I get to fire up Beat Saber, my favorite application for evaluating controller tracking under extreme conditions. But from just shaking them around in the menu, they seem to track extremely well. Valve is claiming about 40 hours of battery life off of a single AA,
Oh,
and
that's
this
great.
battery compartment is a perfect transition into the customizability that's on display with this headset. They're going to have an optional accessory kit that includes knuckle straps for the controller, as well as a second
That's
head
addi-
strap with a top
okay.
Velcro piece if you like a bit of additional support.
That's good.
I personally liked it better, but I also didn't feel like it was
Necessary.
necessary like it is on the much heavier Apple Vision Pro. There's a lot more to customize on the frame itself, too. It includes a spacer gasket for folks with long eyelashes and to improve compatibility with glasses, but Valve fully acknowledges that not everyone will want to use that because it does take away a little bit
It
from their
does.
claimed about 110-degree field of view. So they are working on prescription lenses for the headset itself.
Good.
We even saw a box of them, but there's no specific timeline on that. IPD adjustments are handled with a little knob on the top that spins a cog on the core module, and this is really cool. Right between the goggles at the bottom here is an expansion port that allows up to 2.5 gigabit MIPI cameras, or a single camera with a PCIe Gen 4
face tracking.
1 slot, allowing all kinds of possibilities for additional accessories. Like if you wanted color cameras, for instance, the built-in ones are only monochromatic. Or if you wanted, I don't know, a smell sensor. The sky's the limit. Since we're on the subject of the cameras, Valve says that they will work for inside-out tracking even in pitch darkness thanks to IR emitters that are built into the headset itself.
Nice.
And you can expect tracking performance on the order of about 200 to 250 updates per second.
Because yeah, the MetaQuest you actually need light without light, you can actually lose. You can lose tracking of your controllers pretty easily.
which is about on par with the Valve Index. Not something that I expected. Now that I've had a chance to gather my thoughts and eat some crappy airport food, let's talk about how Valve is delivering a PC VR-like experience wirelessly when big names like Apple and Meta have tried and never really succeeded.
No.
It starts with the least interesting looking part, this 6 GHz Wi-Fi dongle. Valve built the headset with 2 radios and 2 antennas for Wi-Fi, along with a third dedicated antenna for your controllers or your Bluetooth peripherals. One of those Wi-Fi antennas handles 5 GHz for your game downloads, your multiplayer data, your voice chat, etc. The other one connects to a very high-end home router, or more likely, Valve's dongle using the so far mostly unused 6 GHz band. This is a perfect use case for 6 GHz. Since it lacks the wall penetration that you might want for home Wi-Fi, but it excels at avoiding 2.4 and 5 GHz channel congestion while pushing huge amounts of bandwidth. With that said, while the theoretical maximum is right up there with wired connections, in the real world it falls well short of that. So what's the secret? Foveated streaming. Seeing this in action blew my flipping mind. Basically, the idea behind it is similar to foveated rendering, where the headset tracks your eyes and tells your GPU, hey, only render the area of focus at full fidelity and save your resources on the rest of the scene.
Oh, that's funny. PlayStation just killed PC VR. Not really, did they? If they had made the headset work on PC, I probably would have bought it, actually.
It's a technique that's been used to great effect on the handful of PSVR 2 titles that exist, but has been largely untapped on the PC side, largely because it depends on game developers to implement it. And also, most headsets don't have built-in eye tracking, so why would they bother? Foveated streaming, then. Again, same idea. Focus your resources wherever the eyes are looking. Except in this case, it's not the GPU saving on rendering resources, it's the video encoding stream saving on bitrate. So you get crystal clear, high bitrate encoding, exactly where your eyes are looking, and then a little bit blurry everywhere else.
That's good.
At least in theory. In practice, it reacted so fast that no matter how quickly I tried to move my eyes, I wasn't able to catch it.
He made it sound like it was going to be
bad.
bad.
About that. Valve put on an incredible demo for me in Half-Life Alyx, where they highlighted the maximum fidelity window as I was looking around. And even though they say it's only about 10% of the total video stream, it ends up being a pretty large window. Wild. As for the encoding latency, well, thanks to some clever parallelization of the encoding, you can expect anywhere from 1 to 2 milliseconds of extra latency on a modern GPU, and 4 to 5 for a slightly older but still VR-capable one. Not enough to notice, or to contribute to significant motion sickness. And it keeps getting better. I managed to get almost 50 feet away from the dongle without a noticeable difference in the
Most people wouldn't even have that kind of space.
This is still line of sight, but it's a lot further than I can get with a tether. Now, I did bring up the possibility of more than one of these devices causing interference with each other, and Valve said that while they have operated multiple headsets concurrently in the same space, they haven't explored more demanding use cases like packed VR cafes. Moving on to audio. The built-in solution is both incredibly impressive and also a little disappointing. I'm impressed by the audio quality. They apparently had to use opposing drivers to cancel out the vibrations to make sure that the inside-out tracking wouldn't get messed up, and they sound fantastic. As for the mic, I didn't get a chance to test it, but Valve assured me that the mics should carry on the Index's incredible reputation for stellar microphone performance. I'm disappointed because I literally had the engineer who worked on the Index and this new headset in the room with me, and when I asked her for a gaming headset with all this same audio black magic, she just shrugged. So, sorry y'all, I tried. In all seriousness, the speakers don't fire directly into your ears, so there is a bit more sound bleed than with the Index, but it doesn't seem like a game breaker, depending on what you're watching and who's around. The last couple of experiences I want to talk about are a huge deal, whether
there should be a headphone jack.
The first is Thex, an open source project that Valve has been contributing, and this is a quote, quite heavily to. It's a translation layer that allowed me to experience a completely standard Windows x86 game, Hades 2 in this case, running directly on the hardware on the frame. I'm talking x86 code designed to run on Windows, running on a Snapdragon 8650 running Linux. Holy freaking mind blown. They're planning a compatibility list a la Great on Deck for the future. But wait a second, running on Linux? Yeah, Valve's been busy porting SteamOS to ARM. How did they drop so much news on one day? The Frame does everything that you know and love about SteamOS, like fast suspend and resume and performance overlays, except on your VR headset directly. And as I mentioned briefly in the intro, if you blinked, you might have missed it. With this new ARM processor comes the ability to, supposedly, run Android APKs by directly sideloading them onto the Steam frame. And given how many VR experiences are designed to run on mobile devices, this is a colossal win. And with Valve's commitment to putting micro SD card slots on all their devices, it can't be too hard to install. Now, there are still some areas where the frame doesn't seem to be industry leading.
What?
The light seal isn't perfect, especially if you compare it to the Beyond 2 with its custom 3D printed.
That's too bad, but for the light seal, and that one I know because once again with the Meta Quest 3, it's not perfect neither. You can buy, many companies will be making alternative options for sure, and they don't cost that much, so if that's the only problem with this, it's not even really a problem.
Gasket. The pass-through cameras, they're just monochromes, so don't expect to be wearing your frame out and about like people did with the Apple Vision Pro.
That's too bad.
For the first week or so. From my very brief and admittedly not side-by-side experience, it's also not the highest clarity nor highest dynamic range display I've ever seen, and it's not as light or compact as, say, the big screen Beyond 2.
But I wish he had given some examples of what he was talking about, because he's tried all the VR headsets. If you're talking about the $2,000 ones, I mean, most people wouldn't even care. But if he's talking about the Meta Quest, I would be surprised if the Meta Quest 3 still has an advantage in those areas.
But it's the overall package that should have the entire rest of the industry stopping and going, how did Valve, who, as of 2021, supposedly had less than 350 employees, managed to outmaneuver monsters like Meta, who spent $17.7 billion on Reality Labs just last fiscal year? I would ask Gaben how it happened, but I'm pretty sure he's busy on his yacht. All I know is that I want one, whether it's for wireless PC gaming, native gaming on the road with minimal bulk in my bag, or even just relaxing on the couch watching movies on the big screen. Like, what kind of sucker needs a big TV when this thing exists? So, with the frame clearly taking the place of the Index in Valve's lineup, what happens to all the users of the Index and, maybe more importantly, the third-party ecosystem that exists around its base stations and Knuckles controllers? The short answer is, the Index is EOL. But the long answer is Valve would love to see other players in the VR space approach them about continuing to support or even continuing to manufacture these devices. Whether that'll happen, I don't know, but at least Valve is open to the conversation. Just like I'm open to telling you about our sponsor.
Grammarly. Writing things like a novel, an essay, or even a quick thank you card can be difficult, and everyone knows how annoying it is when the words just don't come out right. That's where Grammarly can step in. It's an AI writing partner there to help kickstart your creativity, form brainstorming ideas, outline your piece, or even generating a first draft for you if you're just drawing a blank page. And Grammarly's humanizing feature is designed to help your words sound genuine and natural, not robotic. When you're ready for the last layer of polish, Expert Review gives you feedback inspired by professionals in a related field. Grammarly's there to help you finish your writing faster, giving you the time back to go do other things in life. Level up your productivity and get Grammarly today. You can even save 20% off Grammarly Pro if you use our link in the video description.
If you guys enjoyed this video, go check out part 2 on the Steam Machine, as well as the new 2026 edition of the Valve Steam controller. Mind-blowing stuff today. I can't believe they blindsided me with this. They're like, come down, we'll tell you nothing. You have 4 hours to do everything.
Worth it though. Look, if he actually has another one, we'll check it out before moving to the second one. Announcing VR headset, console, and controller on random Wednesday is such a Valve thing to do. I wish I were high on Porta news. What? hypotenuse, longest side of. Okay, maybe was it a mistake? No idea. Valve really takes the saying "it's ready when it's ready" to a new level by releasing things simply unexpectedly. Yeah, and honestly, I prefer this. I hate the whole hype train that some companies try to do. I mean, you can even see what happened with the Switch 2. I didn't even buy it in the end. And also the same thing with games. Don't announce it before it's, almost cooked at least. It's ridiculous how the industry is nowadays. Allows you to play Windows-based x86 games on Linux-based ARM VR headset. Is a great way of putting how absurd this achievement is. This is 100% the type of competition the Quest needed. Yeah, now we just need to see the price, but clearly the things like the monochrome cameras on the headset does tell me that they tried to keep it as low as possible. So I'm genuinely going to be interested to see how much it costs. Anyways, let's see. Yeah, okay, they're going to talk about the Steam Machine here. Perfect. Oh, it came out 38 minutes ago? I'm glad I couldn't come earlier. Ah, perfect. Yeah, no, it came out like 40 minutes ago. I waited just long enough. I guess it came out just a few minutes before I started the stream. Nice. We'll see. Let's see what he has to say. Oh, damn, even Digital Foundry has it. We'll see how much we watch. But yeah, I want to get as much information as I can. And the fact that they actually let tech YouTubers just touch it, play it, test it like this is amazing. I know it's not like they got to do whatever they wanted with it, but still.
3 absolute bombs today. The Steam Frame Standalone VR Headset, that's going to have to be a separate video. This one focusing on the new Steam Machine, and yes, the wait is finally over, the 2026 edition Steam Controller. Let's start with a little history. Over 10 years ago, Valve announced their first version of SteamOS, a Linux-based operating system that would free gamers from the shackles of Microsoft Windows. No, it was a total commercial flop. But instead of giving up on Steam machines, Valve doubled down, working with game developers on Linux-native ports of their games and with open-source developers on the Proton compatibility layer that makes their Steam Deck handheld out-of-the-box compatible with thousands of Steam games, even ones that only ever shipped on Windows. The Steam Deck is believed to have sold millions of units at this point, and no wonder given its great balance of solid gaming and outstanding affordability. But its mobile form factor has given it certain limitations and left gamers hungry for something more substantial. And well, here it is.
It's
I'm
so
calling
small.
it the Lunchbox. 1, because it's substantial, like lunch. 2, because it's cube-shaped, like a box. And 3, because I think this thing is going to eat Xbox's lunch. Okay,
It will.
That last one was a bit of a reach. But not as far as I'm reaching for this segue.
But Game Pass, well, I guess it depends. But it is a PC essentially, so you could have Game Pass on here too. Yeah, and I guess some people would keep using Game Pass because it's not like Steam has a equivalent to Game Pass.
To our sponsor.
Hold up, Rogue Lab is having a sale, 60% off. They're easy to
What the
use,
fuck?
and they're easy to use and super comfy. But I got a little friend now. A guy has gotta celebrate somehow. Hear that? That's the sound of the holidays coming.
I'll let
Because
these
if you
run.
spend over $100 at LTTstore.com, you'll get a 1 in 10 chance of winning something big. You can win a pair of Sennheiser HD 550 headphones. Or if you're really lucky, you may be selected to win a brand new ROG Xbox Ally X. This is fun. But hurry, you only have until November 26th. Shop now at LTTstore.com.
Christmas is already here. I hope that's not
In what has
copyrighted.
become typical Valve fashion, they've been atypically open about the new Steam Machine, giving us direct access to the engineering folks who worked on these devices. The only thing I didn't have today was time, so we're going to get through this as fast as we can. At the heart of the Steam Machine is a 6-core AMD Zen 4-based CPU that turbos up to 4.8 gigahertz with 16 gigs of RAM and an 8-gig GPU that they compared to a 7600 XT-ish. But they were also quick to point out that it might not be apples to apples thanks to their custom software stack and power tuning. Basically, the goal was that pretty much anything on Steam should run at 4K 60 FPS if you're willing to change all the details and use a little bit of SSR upscaling. And we saw that on display with Cyberpunk running in the demo room at these settings. Valve says to expect about 6 times the performance of the Steam Deck. Now, I was a little surprised to not see an SoC with shared memory, but apparently the decision to go for discrete CPU and GPU came down to balancing cost, power, size, and performance, and also they just didn't feel like they needed to. And I guess Valve was right, because they nailed this thing. Compared to a more traditional ITX small form factor machine like the OG Steam machine reference design, you can see that it's a lot smaller. More on par with a highly integrated design like something like the Framework Desktop. Investment disclosure. Like the Framework Desktop, Valve allows customization of the front panel using these magnetic plates,
so cool.
and they're going to provide the CAD files so you can put whatever your heart desires on here. They even had a machine in the demo room with a display that was showing system vitals.
That's nice.
Cool. But unlike the Framework, it has a programmable RGB strip in the front that could be used to personalize your style or maybe show a progress bar while you switch your TV input and wait for your game to be downloaded. The sky's kind of the limit. The front of the device has a power button, micro SD slot, 2 USB 3 5 gigabit per second ports. Then the rest of the I/O is in the back, where you'll find 2 USB 2 Type A ports, a USB-C 10 gigabit
even
per
the
second
display.
port.
Yeah, of course, the
No
display port.
port on there. That is worth noting. Gigabit Ethernet.
Wait, no? Did he say no display port? Wait, what? Oh, wait.
In the back, where you'll find 2 USB 2 Type A ports, a USB-C 10 gigabit per second port, no display port on there, that is worth noting. Gigabit Ethernet, power in for the integrated power supply.
I'm confused. Maybe it was a mistake, but we'll see. Was he talking about something else?
Good gravy, this thing is compact, as well as an HDMI 2.0 and DisplayPort 1.4 port. It is worth noting that HDMI 2.0 port, they have tested it at HDMI 2.1 speeds, but there are a couple of features that are not implemented, so they can't call it HDMI 2.1. Also at the back, we have a large 120mm cooling fan that draws air from both the intake on the bottom that comes up through the power supply, as well as the large heatsink on the front.
Nice.
We're going to crack this thing fully open in a sec.
Oh.
First, I want to talk about the Steam controller.
They actually got to crack it
No,
open.
not that Steam controller. The new one, with the exact same name. Before you ask, yes, I made my case to Valve that this is unnecessarily confusing.
Yes.
No, they're not going to change it. The good news is Valve learned a lot from the first Steam controller, and this appears to be their most complete offering ever.
Interesting.
Complete offering ever. To be fair, the original was really cool. I mean, it made non-controller games finally playable from the couch, thanks to their innovative haptic touchpad. They also unlocked novel input schemes with gesture control or like swiping with momentum. But they also turned off a lot of folks due to their deficiency of traditional joysticks. Well, that's solved now. The Steam controller is everything that is great about the controller on the Steam Deck, but usable when your Steam Deck is in docked mode, or with your Steam machine, or with any other PC. Investment disclosure.
Yeah.
On the surface, it offers up a conventional ABXY button layout with a PlayStation-style symmetric joystick design that will work seamlessly out of the box with basically any game. The trackpads have been repositioned to better accommodate the arm's natural position while holding a smaller device compared to the wider Steam Deck, and all of the usual Valve buttons are included. A Steam button for opening the menu, their quick access button for bringing up the SteamOS overlay, 4 rear programmable buttons. The face buttons are satisfying with a nice amount of resistance, and the D-pad has been tuned from the Steam Deck for better feel. It feels okay to me, but I only got a couple minutes with it before Valve blew my mind. The joysticks are next-generation TMR or tunneling magneto-resistant joysticks, boasting
And that's the
superior
thing, like, Sony, Nintendo, Xbox, they could all have these kind of joysticks if they wanted to. But no, they want to make their own shitty-ass things.
accuracy and durability, even compared to Hall effect joysticks.
Yeah, this is the latest one. And basically, less likely, if not impossible, for it to stick drift. Almost impossible, I should say. Unlike all the others.
And the controller has been designed from the ground up for a superior gyroscopic aiming or mousing experience with capacitive thumbsticks.
Gyroscope aiming is the absolute best. I'm surprised that not everyone's using that yet.
And even capacitive grips, so you can configure your gyro to enable or disable depending on whether you put your thumb on the stick or even by simply loosening your grip, say to recenter and then reactivate gyroscopic aiming. They had a great demo with Balatro showing how you can use the game's built-in controller compatibility like a pleb, or hear me out, trackpads with the right for movement and the left one split down the middle for left and right click. Or hear me out again, gyro mouse using the face buttons for clicks. And if you don't care about gyro
all the
clicking,
options,
these capacitive inputs are all remappable as well, opening up a whole world of
it's good to have that many buttons at the back.
Let's go even deeper. In addition to the haptic texture-like feedback that you know and love from Valve's previous touchpads, the Steam controller has been upgraded with large rumble motors to better immersion and a large battery that they claim should be good for 35 hours in the most demanding applications, and even better if you don't need quite as much rumble. But I haven't even talked about the best part. If you've ever gamed over Bluetooth, you know that it can be inconsistent at best. Valve's solution? The puck. Every Steam controller comes with a wireless dongle that clips magnetically to the Steam controller using a couple of nice, strong alignment magnets.
Very
and it
nice.
uses a proprietary 2.4 gigahertz wireless interface that Valve claims is good for about 8 milliseconds end-to-end latency and offers up superior resiliency when you're using multiple controllers.
I see.
It allows 4 controllers per puck, so that's not as good as the Xbox dongle, which can do 8, but Valve has tested up to 4 pucks on a single system for a maximum of 16 players, meaning that you're probably going to run out of seats on your couch before you run out of controller compatibility.
Nice.
The last chef kiss on top is an IR emitter that's cozied up beside the power LED to help you find your controller when you're in VR. I love it.
Yeah.
Now let's get back to the Steam machine who got naked while we were busy. Oh, you. While Valve's goal was to build something that is zero hassle,
That is insanely
grabbing
smooth.
gaming for the non-tinkerers, they really were laser focused on a console-like experience with quick suspend and resume and modern standby so that your games are already updated when you sit down to play. They also fully acknowledge that there are folks out there, guilty, who are tinkerers, and they've come up with an ingenious design for this thing that allows it to cater to both audiences. In advance, no, you're not going to be swapping out the BGA soldered processors.
Okay.
But what you can do is upgrade the storage with next to no hassle to
Oh.
a 2230 or larger 2280 sized M.2 drive. And while we couldn't go that deep today,
Oh shit. I'm gonna have some use for it. I can oh damn, yes. I have 2 terabytes of that shit waiting. Oh shit. I hit the wrong button there.
everything that is in resume and modern standard or larger 2280 sized
Nice.
M.2 drive. And while we couldn't go that deep today, Valve also confirmed that the memory uses standard SODIMM slots.
Oh, so
Finally, while Valve hasn't actually told iFixit that this product is coming yet, they did say that they're hoping to continue their partnership that they've had on the Steam Deck, making replacement parts available for end users.
oh, that's so
Awesome.
good.
Since we're in here, by the way, there are some really cool details that I'd love to highlight. The power supply for
And the interesting thing about this, even though it's not like, oh, it's not the equivalent of the most powerful PCs nowadays, the size, the fact that you have the comfort of a console experience, and what was it again? Wait.
it's available for end users. Awesome.
You can replace the parts. Yeah, this is what I was gonna say. All modern consoles, it feels like they are going to keep trying to get it more powerful and all that stuff. But honestly, I have the feeling that this will hit the right spot of power. As in, you wouldn't really need anything more than this. Games look good, more than good enough nowadays. I think game developers need to concentrate on the gameplay experience again, which is insane that it feels like so many of them have forgotten about it. Hoping Zenless Zone Zero has learned their lesson. There's a live stream tomorrow. I'll see if they announce more information about what's coming in 2.5, and maybe some of the updates are coming in 2.4. Regardless, it doesn't feel like we need much more power. So this is amazing. Who knows? Maybe they'll bring out a new one in what, 5 or 10 years or something. But for now, this is perfect. It's the kind of why, of course, I don't know apples to apples yet compared to the Switch 2. I don't remember all the details on it, but yeah, this seems like the sweet spot.
Since we're in here, by the way, there are some really cool details that I'd love to highlight. The power supply, for one thing, is fully integrated to the point where it's actually part of the chassis, and the cooling solution pulls air directly through it, which avoids any need for it to have its own fan. The aforementioned Delta cooling fan is actually slightly thicker than the standard 25mm for extra static pressure, and it includes antenna mounts that are integrated into it, along with I/O mounts. Cool, right? Oh, this is actually a great look at the 4 antennas. So this is the back of the device, where you have your 2 antennas for Wi-Fi 6E. Then if we flip it around to the front, we've got 1 antenna for Bluetooth peripherals and another one that is dedicated to your Steam controller or controllers. So that puck that's included with your controller is actually extra, and you could chuck it on another PC or next to your couch for charging.
Very nice.
A major question mark, though, is of course price. Valve wasn't able to give any specific numbers due to rapidly evolving market conditions, but they will obviously have it nailed down when the Steam Machine launches in Q1 2026 alongside the new Steam controller. They did give me one hint, though.
Yeah?
They said that while they expect it to be very competitively priced with a PC, that it will be priced like a PC, rather than like a console with games subsidizing the upfront hardware purchase.
Okay. Damn. Yeah, so it'll be a bit more expensive than I expected, for sure. It would be like, it is basically buying a new PC. But then again, my PC is, yeah. I guess I'd have to compare. Because if this would cost as much as it would cost me to either repair/replace some parts on the PC, then I might as well go for this. Make it simpler on myself. Well, we'll have to see how powerful it is, I guess. As in, truly, once you use it.
They wouldn't say why, but if I had to guess, I'd say it's partially to avoid stepping on the margin opportunities of their potential partners for Steam games and Steam software, but also because they recognize that the Steam Machine is a full-fledged PC capable of being used as a full-fledged PC. There's no guarantee then that, say, a corporate purchase of 10,000 of these things would result in a single game sale.
Yeah, exactly.
So they really do need to protect the sustainability of their hardware business. Another major question mark is, where the heck is standalone SteamOS for custom PC builders? Well, we aren't going to get a formal SteamOS release for BYO hardware configurations anytime soon, but Valve has expanded the list of supported third-party devices, and they have supported installing the Steam Deck recovery image on AMD CPU and GPU systems for some time, and recently updated it to support their latest Zen 5 and RDNA 4 architecture processors. So nothing prevents you from building your own Steam machine and installing the software for free, though you will miss out on some things. HDMI CEC control, for instance, required Valve to build a custom motherboard in order to have your computer turn on alongside your AV receiver. And to get that on a BYO PC would require some serious cooperation between hardware makers that I don't know if we should hold our breath for. But the bulk of the experience should work pretty much out of the box. We may even get a release that supports a broader range of hardware in the future. But the vibe I'm picking up on around here is that it really depends on better support for Intel and especially NVIDIA GPUs. I'm also picking up this vibe to our sponsor.
What up? Hey man, I got a new couch and I think I need some help.
You know I got some stuff to do today.
Come on, it won't take long.
Okay.
He doesn't know it's an M1 sofa from Rove Lab, babe. Moved it and set it up by myself. Now I'm watching Grab a Ray.
I really don't wanna lift a couch right now, but he's been there for me, and I'm gonna find a way to help him somehow.
Man, you made it. Man, you're the greatest.
How did you lift it by yourself?
It's made of strong, you're comfortable, and it's easy to move anywhere in your home. And why did you need my want you to help me celebrate? Because there's a Black Friday sale and everything's 60% off.
those are some amazing ads. Fuck's sake.
I tried to get through everything, but I only had about 4 hours to get briefed on everything right and film, so my apologies.
That was great.
Now, assuming that that one's up yet, go check out the video on the Steam Frame VR headset because it's a
Yeah,
game-changer.
Steam Frame is the final name of that
Make
one.
it clear
Yes.
that this is not a real product. Sorry.
Damn it. I hope they do make it clear. Like, everyone likes that. And yet... Is this the one? That's so cool, a configurable sofa like that. Who knows if they even do sell in Europe though. I'll definitely keep it. You never know. Okay. Oh yeah, I did open 2 of them, didn't I? It doesn't matter what you call it. It's called the game, the Gab Cube. Excuse me, sniffing the exhaust vent is half the reason I purchased a Steam Deck. Thank you very much. What do you mean, don't sniff? It's the best part. We all have this weird habit, don't we? Whether it's games, new software, hardware, sniffing whatever it comes in. Transparent plastic shell to demonstrate only. Valve release this as an option. I don't know why they don't release it as an option. Is it structurally weaker? Is it more expensive? No, it can't be more expensive. Coloring would be more expensive. Let's be honest, it's not the Lunchbox. Regardless of its success or failure, this device will forever be known as the Valve Game Gab Cube. Please, Valve, leave it Portal Companion Cube Team Steam Machine. That would be cool. The writing ad was nuts. Who was writing the lyrics for those sponsors need to raise? Yeah. No, pretty damn good. Riley's back, baby. Gonna need a Christmas album next. The Gab Cube looks amazing. Of course, they would never have called it the Gab Cube. That makes sense, but definitely a meme name that will live forever now. Yeah. Steam Frame. I have to remember that name because it's true that I keep on thinking Deckard, but that was the name it had before its official release. It was its code name, basically. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch everything because clearly they just invited everyone, didn't they? We'd be here for hours on end if I watched every video. And I don't have that kind of stamina right now, unfortunately. If I did, I would honestly just stream all day. Right now. Yep. Anyways, let's check out the list. I would definitely be curious to hear what they have to say. You... And let's see. Is there anyone else in particular I would want to hear from? Otherwise, we'll just watch those 2 next videos because I mean, with Linux, I'm pretty sure we got most of the information we need. But it's going to be interesting to get Cass and Cherry XL's thoughts since they are mainly a VR headset channel, like VR ecosystem channel, unlike Linux's general tech. Okay, that's good. Oh, did he get it tried too? Or was it just an announcement? Matteo. Okay, he watched the announcement. Maybe. We'll see. 26 minutes. I was wrong about the Valve Index 2. Oh, did he think it was not going to be a standalone VR headset? I wonder. Oh, that was 13 days ago. Huh. I think maybe I'll check out at the end, skip through it and see what he had predicted. Because to me, it's everything I imagined it was going to be when I heard about the Decade. When the leaks of the Decade came out, it's exactly what I wanted them to make. Okay. Too bad we don't have the, how you call it, prices. I guess we'll get the prices probably at the beginning of the year. And then it might come out in March. March or April. I think April the latest, so it will come out in March. Okay, let's start.
Hi and welcome back to...
You will be the last. We can close that one. Close that. Okay.
Very cool hardware today. I was able to test some of it out last week, and it's just awesome hardware because in classic Valve fashion, they've brought some very interesting technology into the gaming space. So there are 3 new devices. The first is their new Steam machine, a console-like mini PC. And then secondly, they have their new Steam controller. And then last is their new Steam Frame, an impressive streaming and standalone VR headset.
Yeah.
So the first thing I want to get into is that Steam machine. It's a small box that runs Steam OS. So you get that super intuitive, very easy to use Steam experience for your TV or desktop gaming setup. And the performance goal here is that any game on Steam should be able to run at 4K, 60 frames per second with FSR3. Now the CPU and GPU in here are both semi-custom chips from AMD, and the idea here is that the performance on this GPU is supposed to be over 6 times the performance of the Steam Deck. And it's packing 16 gigs of user replaceable memory as well as 8 gigs of video memory. Now, the first reaction when I saw this thing, I was like, oh my god, it's tiny. Like,
Yeah.
it's basically a 6-inch cube. It's
It's
not a perfect
insane.
cube. It's a little bit shorter and deeper, but it's basically a cube. And it is so weird how small it is. It's like 3.5 liters, and it's like this cube that can play games. There's a good number of ports around it. You have your DisplayPort and HDMI, you have gigabit Ethernet, there's 1 USB-C on the back, and then there's also 2 USB-A on the back, but there's 2 more up front, and you also get a micro SD slot up front. So if you have a Steam Deck and you store your games on a micro SD, you can just pop it out and bring it over into your new Steam machine, and you just transfer your game library over there instantly. It's like a very simple way to bring games over. You also get a magnetic faceplate, so they showed a couple variants that you could swap around. And there's also a DIY one where one of the employees had made like an e-ink display on one of it. And then behind this panel is a dust grill that's designed to be easily cleaned. And there's also an RGB light bar that you have full control over. And they were talking about how you could have it show the download progress of games and updates. So you can start an update and then you swap over to a show or something. And then when that bar is full, you'll know that the update is finished and now you can play the game. It's like a super simple addition to this, but it's just a nice touch.
It
When
is.
you open up the cube, you can see it's a very dense cube. You can replace the storage on the bottom. The stock drive is a 2230 shorty, but you can replace it with the full-size 2280 if you want. And it runs a custom heatsink as well as a 300-watt power supply. There's no AC brick or anything. And the whole system is cooled with a very quiet single fan. And when it's idling and doing light tasks, it's like mid-20s, but even at full load, like maximum effort, this thing does 28 to 30 decibels. I brought my ear up to it and you could tell it is a remarkably quiet system. And it's because they put a ton of time and engineering effort into like the thermodynamics and also like the fluid dynamics of like the airflow and everything. It is very well thought out. The airflow comes in from the big intake on the bottom as well as the intake up front, and it flows through the system, through the power.
Damn, when I think about this, yeah, no, I would buy it as soon as I can, regardless of if I manage to keep this PC alive. Because it's true, especially with this PC, since it's water cooled, the one I have, I do need to like send it back for repairs / cleaning every like 2 years, even if nothing else goes wrong with it. And those who've been watching me for a while know that a lot has gone wrong with that PC. But it's funny because it's more unlucky on my part rather than it being badly built. It was just super bad luck. But yeah, I know this would be perfect because I would definitely be able to stream from here. It's definitely better than the PS5. I didn't realize how all the limitations would be with streaming on the PS5. Even the webcams, they limit you with that, which is so fucking stupid. But yeah, no, this is actually perfect. I may actually have to replace my PS5 with this. Well, replace it. I will have to get this eventually. Well, maybe not straight away, but for sure. Yeah, hearing it like that does put into perspective, doesn't it? It's true. So that even if my PC shuts down, I would always have a disc that I could just use out of the box.
Power supply and out the rear exhaust. Now, in terms of my expected performance from this device, I've only used one other laptop that had a similar GPU that had a Radeon 7600M, and the performance of that was similar to like a high wattage RTX 4060 laptop. So it's solid for 1080p gaming, but for 4K gaming, I think a lot of the heavier titles will need to lean on that FSR tech. So they let me play with the system for a while, and a couple things I noticed. The sleep wake was really good. I put it to sleep several times, and every time I fired it back up, it was right back into that exact same state. There was no stutter or anything. And I would say that the performance was just better than I thought it would be. I think I had because it was so small and so quiet, I was like, how good could this possibly be? But yeah, I was getting good frame rates off of an early demo, and swapping between two games was really fast and fluid. Now, quick note about the antennas. There's 4 antennas. 2 of them are dedicated to the Wi-Fi 6E connection. One of them is dedicated to the Bluetooth connection. So like if you want to play games on a Bluetooth controller, you just have, uninterrupted access to its own antenna. But the 4th antenna is dedicated exclusively for their own kind of in-house controller. Now, in terms of pricing, they didn't indicate exact pricing on this device yet, but they did say that they're not targeting like console pricing. They're just targeting, I guess, small form factor PCs, and it's just like supposed to be competitive with that kind of hardware. So like imagine if I had to throw a number out there, I would have guessed like $700-800, maybe like $650 when it's on a sale or something, but nothing like crazy expensive.
I think it'd be a bit more expensive.
I think a very reasonable and fair price for what you're getting here. Keep in mind though that the hardware in here is not upgradable like a typical desktop. You can't swap out the like the CPU and GPU. Like you can swap out the RAM, but you are kind of stuck with the performance that you're going to get based on just how you bought it on day one. But I think for the people that are looking for this kind of product, this is like unprecedented. It's just so cool. Something so small, so quiet, and so functional. Okay, second thing, the new Steam controller. So if you'll remember, a few years back, Valve launched this thing, the Steam controller Generation 1. And this was beloved by a lot of people that bought it because it added so this section here, if you're unfamiliar with it, was a touchpad. And for a lot of people that want to do couch gaming, to be able to have like touchpad or just mouse-like support in game while sitting on a couch was something really cool. And we saw more of this tech when they launched the Steam Deck, because this had 2 of these touchpad type interfaces, and people again really enjoyed using these pads to interact with certain games. And so this new Steam controller is basically like this Steam Deck control system, but turned into its own controller. So you get touchpad and gyro controls with top tier magnetic sticks, all packaged into this nice ergonomic design so you can use it for your couch or desktop gaming. And you can run it wired or with Bluetooth, but if you want the best connection, you run it with the RF transmitter. And this transmitter puck doubles as a charging system. It's so cool. It's magnetic and it's super easy to use. You just slide the controller over that puck and you get this satisfying click as the magnets suck on, and it's so good. I feel like every high-end controller should have a charging system like this.
Yes.
And the magnets won't accidentally attach if it's upside down or something. It'll only connect the right way because there's magnetic shunts. It's really neat. Now the controller feels awesome in hand. Now I tested it with a bunch of games, but there's one game in particular. It's like the Ninja Turtle Splintered Fate game, and this is a game I played a lot on my phone. I've cleared it a couple times. This is a game that needs a very tight and responsive controller. Any kind of latency will suck, and the new Steam controller felt awesome. I think a big part of it though is because of the sticks. The controller uses these TMR sticks that are a magnetic technology that's even better than Hall Effect. It's supposed to be just more reliable, less prone to drift, and also have smaller dead zone than the already great Hall Effect sensors you've seen. And these are unfortunately soldered on, but Valve is saying that this tech is so reliable that they really don't think
that's the
need
thing
to replace those sticks.
Yeah, unlike
If you take a look at the
all
back
the other
of
consoles
grip controller, you can
controllers.
see these capacitive sensors at the bottom of the grip, and those are there to reset
You should release a
the
clear
gyro. So
version.
if you've ever used a controller's gyroscope and you're kind of like moving around, like I don't know, flying a plane or driving a car, or just aiming with the gyroscope, if you've ever gone to the point where you you've rotated your wrist or your hands in a position where it's like not a comfortable
Problematic.
position, I want to control the thing. I want to turn more this way, but my hand's already here. It is you let go of the controller, and the capacitive sensor will detect, okay, he's let go. So it disengages the gyro.
Yeah.
Set your hand.
See, now I see how it works, because I was like, do I really need that? But that has been a problem in many games. Even games like Fortnite, where I'd be like, damn it. I was going to shoot them, but it's not going anymore. But yeah, no, this is great. Actually, I'm sure it will take a little while to get used to, but it's perfect.
Hand back, and now you can continue turning in that space.
And it's true, because so few developers are even adding gyroscope, which to me is brain dead. But because of that, it feels like no one has tried to innovate on gyroscope until now. I'm so glad that Steam does it. I guess it's because maybe most of the people like me who use gyroscope have been very vocal about it, and Steam is one of the few, well, companies that actually listens to their
Same
customers.
direction instead of like twisting like crazy in one direction. And the idea that is so cool. Personally, though, I don't use gyroscopes. Like, it sounds awesome on
You
paper.
should.
I've heard that people would love this feature.
You should
I
use
couldn't
it.
test it properly because
It's
just not how
amazing.
I play my games. There's 4 haptic motors, 2 under the touchpad, 2 in the handles, and they're all high definition linear motors. They're not just rumbling, they're actually trying to give you precise tactile feedback
Good.
in your game. Now, the battery life is aimed at 30 to 40 hours, and because that charging puck is so convenient, I think it'll be more than enough battery life for most people. It does not come with the Steam Deck. It's a separate purchase. If I had to guess on its price, the original one that came at like $50, I think, when it launched, I should hope this one's like $60, $70.
That'd be
see,
good.
but I don't think it'll be crazily priced. Okay, the last thing, the Steam Frame. And this was the most impressive hardware they showed me. So it is a VR headset that addresses 2 different segments. The first segment, the primary segment, is that it can be used as a streaming headset. So you can have a system like a gaming desktop or gaming laptop or that Steam Cube, or rather Steam machine that I just showed you. And as long as that system has a USB port, you can stream a game over into this Steam Frame VR headset. That's the first kind of usage case. The second scenario is that you can use it as a standalone VR system. And standalone meaning that it's not connected to another computer. It is its own standalone device. So you could be on a plane or in a car or in a cave. Like, you could just have this system and be experiencing a VR game or a VR experience just by itself without connection to a ancillary device. And this headset is very comfortable to wear. It's very lightweight. The whole product comes in at under a pound. It has 4 cameras up front, 2 more inside for eye tracking with a great screen, great optics, but it was remarkably comfortable to wear. The moment I put it on, I could just tell, like, okay, this is, in terms of just raw comfort for an off-the-shelf VR product, this was the best. A lot of it has to do with the weight, but it's also like the positioning of the battery on the back. It's got this like nice counterweight effect to it. Now, the first experience that I got to try with this headset was the streaming experience. And I went into this with like very low expectations because I've tried a lot of streamed VR experiences. And as nice as the wirelessness is, it typically sucks. Like, you are streaming a lot of visual data over Wi-Fi. If there's any kind of glitch or even like a reduction in visual quality,
it makes it
that
so
hiccup,
bad.
it just throws off the VR experience.
Yeah.
It's about immersion, right? And the moment you break that immersion with like a little bit of a stutter or like something just doesn't align with the movement of your body or your head, everything falls apart rapidly. But Valve has done 2 interesting things in the space that change this experience completely. So the first is that this product comes with a dedicated wireless adapter for streaming the feed into the headset. So it plugs into your desktop or your laptop, and it's a Wi-Fi 6E network that is exclusively for the visual and audio feed of this headset. So any kind of other data, so let's say you're looking at a high score list or the game needs to pull some kind of internet data, it will not use this feed. That'll use like the regular Wi-Fi network that you have around you. It's only for that visual feed. It's dedicated, it's uninterrupted, it's unaffected by anything else. It's just for that visual experience. Now, the second thing, and the way more interesting thing that they've done, is that they've introduced something called foveated streaming. So we've heard of something called foveated rendering. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's when it uses eye trackers in VR headsets to adjust the processing power in VR systems to sharpen only the area that your eyes are focused on. That process or that technique is used in a lot of proper VR systems. The PlayStation VR does it, Apple Vision Pro does it, Meta Quest Pro does it. There's a lot of like, it's just like a very efficient way to use that processing power to make sure that you're only rendering what you're actually focusing on, to make that thing that you're looking at as clear as possible. Okay, the same idea, but slightly different when it comes to foveated streaming. This is Valve's new thing. As you look around in your VR scene, because the eye trackers are tracking what you're looking at, it is adjusting or boosting the streaming bitrate in the spot that you're looking at and it lowers the streaming bitrate in the rest of the scene. And since you're only looking at like 10% of the image at a time, it can allocate a lot of streaming bandwidth to just the thing that you're focused on and make that part of the image look really good. And you would think that you would be able to spot this. Like I put this on, I was like trying to dart my eyes around really quickly, trying to kind of catch it, and I couldn't. It's so fast. They even had a custom build of Half-Life Alyx to demo.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. It's true that yes, your vision is our vision as humans is pretty insane, but the vision where you have focus, where you can see clearly, is quite small actually. Like even if you look completely to the side, you know you can see even more than that, but you can your eyes can focus on those parts. That's why it's possible. But still, it's impressive that it works so
where
smoothly.
it would only stream into the area that your eyes were focused on. Everything else was darkened. And so this foveated streaming tech is so responsive and so good that even if you try to jump your eyes around to like look into a dark area, you can't. It's just such a responsive system. Now, the cool thing is that this technology does not involve the developer. Like with foveated rendering, the developer has to be involved because now they're like adjusting how the game is rendering the scene for the thing. But in this case, it's on top of that layer. So this just takes a regular game and it just, whatever it's streaming to the screen in front of your face. So you don't have to get the developer involved, and it works with every
Exactly,
game
that's
on
what's so
Steam
good about
out
it
of
for
the
Steam
box, with the
especially.
image quality and responsiveness of a wired connection. Okay, the second mode, or like the second capability of this VR headset, is the standalone mode. And again, that's when you don't have it connected to a second computer or another computer. It's just you're running off of the VR headset alone. Now to do this, that would mean that this headset, the Steam frame, has a chip in it. And the chip in here is actually the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, the mobile chip that was in a lot of Android flagships last year. It's a very capable chip, but this is the first time I've seen it in a VR headset. And this system runs SteamOS on ARM. And for playing games, Proton handles the Windows to Linux translation, but something called FEX, spelled F-E-X, handles the CPU translation from x86 to ARM. Now, both supposedly add very little overhead to this process, and in the early demo that I got, I was running Hades 2 in a window, and I was running super smooth, and I was able to resize the window, and I was able to switch to a full VR experience of a different game, and these were just x86 games. These were not native ARM builds. And the question that I had was like, how are you guys able to do this? Like, make a game, an x86 game, run on ARM in Linux, when Windows, like Microsoft Windows, has been struggling with this forever. Like, how are you able to do this so quickly and so well? And the response was simply like, okay, when you control the stack, like you can control the OS, you can control the driver, you can control the instruction set, a single person can attack all three things to fix something in a day, versus Microsoft, where they have to have like 4 or 5 different teams to coordinate, which is a lot harder. And it's similar to how Steam Deck performance got so good so fast. And it made me think, like, if this works as good as it seems to work off of like an early look at it, I would imagine future like Steam Deck 2 or something, I could totally see it being an ARM-based chip. I'm just saying. Okay, some details of the headset. So the first thing is that the front part detaches. So this front piece has all of the optics, the processor,
So you can
the
easily
RAM,
clean
the
it,
storage, the
which is
cooling,
great.
the cameras, everything that makes this product what it is, aside from the battery pack and the speakers, are all in this front segment. And by making it detachable, users can now get a different strap system or different audio system or bigger battery down the line as those accessories pop up. Now the speakers are very interesting. They project from the front to the back, and it's different from how the Valve Index did audio. Those had these little armatures that would go above your ear. But on the Valve frame, on each side of the frame, there are a pair of force canceling speakers, and they had to go with that force canceling tech because the vibrations of the lower frequencies, when it was all mounted together, would shake just enough to throw off the cameras. And like, as I mentioned before, like any kind of artifacting or just kind of imperfection in the visual system it's not a good experience with VR. So by canceling out the vibration of the lower frequencies, they've been able to solve that. Now the strap system works similar to like a pair of ski goggles. I found them not super easy to adjust, but you only need to do it once. Like once you set it up and you've kind of got it to your head shape and head size, you don't have to tweak it again. You just like put it on and off like you would a pair of ski goggles. There's some buttons on the front part of the frame. There's an auxiliary button on the right and a volume up and down on the left. And the pass-through from the front-facing cameras was only black and white, which was surprising to me. I think because like there's so many budget options out there that are relatively inexpensive that have color pass-through that I would expect it to be on here.
Yeah.
But their stance on it is that we're going to try to just focus this product on gamers, and that's not really what gamers use it for, like the pass-through stuff. However, there is going to be like third-party add-ons or maybe their own that plugs up to a little port underneath the nose bridge that would provide color pass-through if that's something you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. It keeps the price low, and it's true. Just for gaming. Yeah, no, honestly, it's not the worst
The
thing.
optic stack. It's pancake lenses, custom designed by Valve, and it's about 110 degrees FOV, depending on how you measure it. There was like a typical black perimeter to my FOV, though. It wasn't like 100% screen. It is a 2160 by 2160 resolution, and just based on the short time that I had with it, it seemed like it was a very good optic stack as well as a really good screen. Now, the controller, they call it the frame controller, and it comes with the kit. It seemed to be really well tracked, and the input control surfaces are all capacitive sensitive. So the buttons, the sticks, the triggers, the grips, the bottom, the handles, everything had a capacitive sensor on it so that you could just tell in games if you were even making contact with any of those points. The battery on the back is 21.6 watt hours. It's not like a huge battery, but again, the primary focus here is comfort, and I think this is where they landed on in terms of like the balance of long lasting and weight. The padding around all of it was really comfortable. It looks almost like hard packaging styrofoam because of its color, but it's actually a very soft material and very comfortable to wear. Pricing. So Valve, in classic Valve fashion, has not revealed the exact pricing. They're aiming for something that's a little bit less than what the Valve Index was. So that was like,
Oh, okay.
it depends on which package you got, but let's say 900,
Yeah.
maybe 700 if you didn't have the base stations, but hopefully it's around there. The thing is, this product exists. This is
Yes.
the MetaQuest 3, and this product is a very inexpensive and incredibly good VR experience that you can connect to a PC and play Steam games.
Its only weakness is Meta. Its only weakness is how closed it is. And of course, the accessories you need to add to it, like the strap is shit. I remember, even by the time the battery goes out, like within about 2 hours, if you don't have a external battery pack, it feels so bad wearing it, so front heavy. So you definitely need accessories to use this often.
On this, I think, if I remember correctly, like 2/3 of Steam VR users are using a Meta headset of some sort. Like that's
Yeah.
how popular these things are. I think a big part of it is because they're so inexpensive. And
But you can't even, and this is why, and it's funny because Meta probably thinks they were kind of subsidizing themselves, making more money off people who would buy the 512 gigabyte version. But I got the smaller version, and there's no way to upgrade how much memory I have on the headset. And that's why the only game I have on the headset is the game it came with, which was Asgard's Wrath 2. I've bought all my other games on Steam just because of that. I would have been buying them on the MetaQuest. There's some good discounts, but I don't want to use all the space up, and have to delete and reinstall software like that. They could just have put a fucking micro SD chip in there, but no.
don't know if the average person is going to be willing to pay much more than the $500 price tag that this is for a VR experience.
I think they would be willing because Meta is so closed up and has made some stupid ass decisions like the lack of expandable memory. So yes, people would be willing, because I will tell you right now, just buying a new strap, a decent strap, buying a new gasket and stuff like that would cost you probably the difference between... Yeah, it's true, no. Even if, let's say you got the one with 512 memory there, it's what? 500? Even if it's only 100 more with the Steam... How's it called again? I keep on forgetting the name of the Steam... It's not Deckard. Well, Steam Frame, that's it. Even if it was 100 more, it would still be worth it because you could expand that memory. And you could have multiple memory chips, so you can just switch it out. I mean, the convenience, as long as you're not exaggerating the price, people would pay for the convenience
I do think that if you compare raw experience to one another, the Valve frame is definitely better than what the MetaQuest offers, especially with the dedicated wireless
And it's a better
adapter and
experience.
very comfortable ergonomics, but that thing is just super cheap. You can't ignore it. Okay, that's the 3 new products from Steam. They will come out early 2026. That's
Yeah.
when they're supposed to go retail.
Early
so if you're interested in
2026.
reviews, be subscribed then. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Yeah, good video. Yeah, we've seen enough of the hardware, guys, for sure. Microsoft endless announcements about the coming turnaround. Valve says nothing for years, drops these 3 devices on a random Wednesday. Valve has spent some money the right way, for sure. People are 100% going to be calling it the Steam Cube. Yeah, or the Gap Cube. Yeah, I would. Damn. It would be amazing to work for Valve.
Il a une chemise toute.
It would be amazing. Oh, yeah, it's true. I should probably add all these videos to my description. I'll put a link to them. Well, it's not like there's going to be a ton of people seeing this anyways, but still. Out of respect. Okay. This one's going to be interesting since, like I said, she is in the VR space specifically. Well, they, I should say. Since it's 2 of them on this channel.
It is finally happening! Valve just officially announced 3 new devices: the Steam Controller, Steam Machine, and Steam Frame. And I got all the juicy information for you. Yes, these are not rumors. I got this information directly from Valve, straight from the source. So if you're wondering what's real and what's just Reddit theory crafting, I've got the facts. I'm past VR Explorer of the past 8 years, and if you're into XR, AR, VR, and whatever comes next, hit subscribe and join me beyond reality. Let's start with the one that lays the foundation, the new Steam controller. At first glance, it might look like just another controller, but this one is built to be the brainstem of the entire Steam hardware ecosystem. It's designed to work wherever Steam is, seamlessly, on PC, Mac, Linux, phones, Steam Deck, Steam Machine, and even the new Steam Frame. What makes it stand out is how it handles inputs. We're talking magnetic thumbsticks, like the ones that don't drift, and they use TMR tech, which stands for tunnel magnetoresistance. It's a technology that uses magnetic fields instead of physical contact to detect movement. That makes the thumbsticks more accurate, more durable, and way less likely to suffer from drift. Something that's been the Achilles heel of older analog sticks. They also have full-size controls, including traditional face buttons, quick menu, view and Steam buttons, trigger and bumpers, 2 pressure-sensitive trackpads, assignable grip buttons, capacitive grip sense, and a quick way to activate or deactivate the gyro. It's also packed with a 6-axis IMU and 4 HT haptic motors, 2 in the trackpads and 2 in the grips for deep customizable feedback. Theoretically, this means you'll get crisp and responsive feedback with every click and rumble. But
the other thing, it may honestly be a better controller than the PS5. And I don't just mean in durability, but what I love about the PS5 is yes, the ergonomics, but the HD rumbles, and well, it's not called HD rumble, is it? Haptic feedback. The haptic feedback is insane. I guess this one doesn't have haptic feedback like on the triggers, but as long as you can feel the rumble clearly, like almost like you're touching the items in the game, that's amazing. And yeah, it's true, the PS5 has this speaker in it, but honestly, I don't think the speaker adds enough to be worth it.
To test these myself. Now there are 3 ways to connect it, but the most exciting is Valve's proprietary low latency wireless tag via the included Steam controller puck. It's pre-paired, plug and play, and Valve claims it hits latency around 8 milliseconds end to end. That's faster and more stable than Bluetooth. You've also got Bluetooth and USB there to play if you want to go classic. And each puck supports up to 4 controllers, and this sounds especially amazing for multiplayer gaming and using it both with the Steam Machine and Frame, but more about that in a bit. Battery life is over 35 hours, rechargeable via the puck or USB. That's That's a solid stretch for long
It
gaming
is.
marathons. I'm especially curious to see how the controllers feel, especially with those
Yeah.
big trackpads. On the Steam Deck, I liked using those for mouse control on its desktop mode. Other than that, I didn't really use them much, so I hope they're not in the way. But with an open system like Steam's, there should be a way to turn them off if you want it, which is why I love Valve. That's a good segue to talk about the next exciting thing, the Steam Machine. Gosh, I love how that sounds. Now, this little cube surprised me. It's about 6 inches or 160 millimeters in size, tiny enough to slide under your TV, on your desk, or basically anywhere you want to game. But inside, it packs some serious firepower. A semi-custom AMD Zen 4 processor with 6 cores and 12 threads, and another semi-custom AMD RDNA 3 GPU with 28 compute units. It's over 6 times more powerful than the Steam Deck and supports 4K gaming at 60 frames per second with FSR and ray tracing. Storage comes in 2 options, 512 gigs and 2 terabyte SSDs, both with microSD expansion. For RAM, you get 16 gigs of DDR5 and 8 gigs GDDR6 for the GPU. DisplayPort 1.4 supports up to 4K at 240Hz or 8K at 60Hz, with HDR FreeSync and daisy chaining support. HDMI 2.0 goes up to 4K at 120Hz and supports HDR, FreeSync and CEC. That's serious bandwidth for any setup really. The Steam Machine runs Steam OS, same as the Steam Deck, which means Linux based, and that means a familiar gaming first user experience, but also an open platform for modding and tinkering, meaning you can access root, mod, configure, install your own apps, and even your own operating system if you want it. I love this. I was only able to make the Steam Deck run VR a couple of years ago just because it's so open, so it's exciting that the Steam Machine follows that same philosophy. In many ways, the machine feels like Valve's own gaming console, but unlike the traditional lockdown system, it's open, so it means it can do so much
Which
more.
is
I
amazing.
think it's exciting that the Steam Frame follows that mindset too, but more about that in a bit. You get Ethernet at 1 gigabit per second, USB-C at 10 gigabits per second, that's 3.2 Gen 2, and 4 USB-A ports, 2 USB 3.0s on the front, and 2 USB 2.0s in the back. Wireless is covered with 2x2 Wi-Fi 6E and a dedicated Bluetooth antenna. And here's something cool, there's an integrated 2.4 GHz Steam controller radio built right in, which brings us right back to that controller. It's not just a nice to have, it's part of the system. The Steam Machine is designed to pair beautifully with it, so Valve will even ship it in a bundle with the Steam controller. Of course, if you've got your own favorite gear,
Oh,
the
they
Steam
will
Machine
ship it
is
in a
available.
bundle.
It's part of the
It's not just a nice to have, it's part of the system. The Steam Machine is designed to pair.
system. The Steam Machine is designed to pair beautifully with it, so Valve will even ship it in
Okay,
a bundle
they will.
with the Steam
Nice.
controller. Of course, if you've got your own favorite gear, the Steam Machine is available standalone too. So it's totally open to whatever setup you prefer. Other fun stuff the Steam Machine has is a customizable LED bar on the front to reflect system status or just look cool while you game. You can wake it up with the Steam controller, there's fast suspend, resume, and access to your entire Steam library instantly. Plus Steam cloud saves and all the other Steam features you'd expect. It's sleek, claimed to be quiet, sounds powerful, and flexible. I'm genuinely looking forward to just kicking back and playing Steam games on my VR headset or TV in the living room with this thing. And if it's compact enough, imagine taking it with you while traveling and streaming high-quality PC VR games on the go, or just going to your friends. That could open up for some fun possibilities. But how far can we push the graphics on this thing? That will be something I'll be testing myself soon. But now, the big one. Let's talk Steam Frame. Yes, we've heard the name from the leaks and how it's official. Valve's first standalone headset. And it's not just for VR. This thing is designed to stream your entire Steam library, VR and non-VR, anywhere. It's wireless and designed to be modular. It's pretty lightweight, the core weighs just 185 grams, with the head strap, facial interface, audio and battery, it's 440 grams. For comparison, the Quest 3 is 514 grams
Yeah,
with
and all in
strap,
the
so
front.
it's less than most current gen standalone headsets. Now the strap definitely looks interesting. It seems you can tighten it on the sides here, but there's no top strap, which makes me a bit concerned about comfort. That said,
But there is. Oh wait, maybe she's going to mention it now.
the Valve told me they will offer an
Yeah,
optional
exactly.
ergonomic kit with knuckle-style straps for the controllers and a top strap for the headset. Plus, the weight looks pretty well balanced, so we'll see. Now, up front, there's what Valve calls an optical comfort wheel, which is for IPD adjustment. Unfortunately, there is no automatic adjustment with eye tracking. Inside is a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, a 4nm ARM-based chip paired with 16 gigs of unified LPDDR5X RAM. Storage comes in 256 gigs or 1 terabyte, and yes, there's micro SD expansion here too, and I really appreciate that because most standalone headsets skip it. For context, the Quest 3 runs on a Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2 with 8 gigs of RAM, which is optimized specifically for XR and does its job. In contrast, this headset uses a full-blown mobile flagship chip, bringing high-end smartphone or even mini PC performance into VR. That could mean a big leap in what's possible, but I will need to test it properly to know for sure. Like I said, it's running Steam OS, just like the Steam Deck and Steam Machine. So we're again in full open system territory. You can develop for it, mod it, and break it in all sorts of creative ways, which is exactly what excites me. Okay, maybe not the breaking part, but Valve said it's the same great experience as the Steam Deck, meaning you can use it as a desktop. So this whole headset is basically also a PC. It also supports sleep, wake, cloud saves, and Proton, which is important as that's what basically lets you play many Windows-only games on Linux-based systems like Steam.
Who knows, maybe I'll just keep
And
everything I
because it's
have
so open, the
and get this
possibilities
on
are
top of
kind
that.
of endless. Imagine if the community figures out a way to run Quest games on it. I mean,
Yeah.
the Play for Dream community already pulled that off. So if modders get to work here, we could see things we haven't even thought of yet. Okay, let's talk about more specs. The optics use pancake lenses and 2160 by 2160 LCDs per eye with between 72 and 144 Hz refresh rate. That 144 Hz is experimental, but still, wow, it worked great on the Valve Index on certain games. Now I'm guessing the LCDs is gonna be a bummer for some of you, but I'm guessing it's a trade-off, as Valve has always been good at optimizing everything together, so let's see what it's gonna look like. The field of view is up to 110 degrees horizontally, which is pretty standard, but FOV is subjective, so let's measure it later. For tracking, there are dual interior cameras for eye tracking, plus 4 exterior monochrome cameras for headset and controller tracking. For playing in darker rooms, there's an outward-facing IR illuminator. Eye tracking also enables foveated streaming, meaning it sends the highest resolution only to where you're actually looking in the stream. It's great that it works for the stream as well, because that's a big deal for performance and bandwidth. There's an included wireless adapter which uses Wi-Fi 6E for a fast, low latency connection between the headset and your PC without any, interference. But the headset itself supports Wi-Fi 7 with 2x2 antenna setup and dual 5 GHz or 6 GHz streaming, meaning it can handle VR gameplay and wireless network traffic simultaneously. It seems pretty clear that the main focus here is delivering a great experience for flat gaming and PC VR streaming.
That's
And if you
exactly
pair
what
it with the
VR
Steam
needed.
Machine, which will then handle most of the heavy lifting, we might be looking at one of the best looking wireless VR visuals out there. That's exciting! It's also fully standalone, which is what makes it so cool. You can use it untethered wherever or hook it up to your gaming rig or the Steam Machine. Now, I'm not sure if there will be any standalone VR games available, but I bet they will, and I hope it's an easy port from Quest. It's got dual speaker drivers per ear built into the head strap and a dual mic array. I see volume buttons to the side here, but I don't see those off-ear index-style speakers.
Yeah,
that
no, I haven't seen where the
everyone loved, though, so I am a
headphone
bit
jack
cautious
is.
about the sound quality. Hopefully the mic matches what we had on the Index, but we'll see once I try it. There's pass-through, but it's only a monochrome camera, which feels like a bit of a step back, but hopefully the quality holds up. On the upside, there's a user-accessible front expansion port with two 2.5 gigabits per second camera interfaces or Gen 4 PCIe. This enables mods, accessories, or even mixed reality cameras for full color pass-through. You know I'll be testing that as soon as I can. The Steam frame has a 21.6 watt-hour rechargeable battery built into the head strap, and no, it's not removable, but the strap is modular, so in theory, others could make alternate versions with different audio or battery setups. As for battery life, Valve's still optimizing and will share more closer to launch. Now, thank all that's good in life, the Steam frame comes with full 6 DOF controllers with IMUs, haptics, and TMR magnetic thumbsticks, just like the new Steam controller. You still get 5-finger capacitive sensing under the inputs and in the handle, like the previous Valve Index controllers, which is such a nice to have. They run on AA batteries, last around 40 hours, and it seems like a new trend to not have straps, which is optional in this case.
Yeah, but
I was a bit
exactly.
sad we're
Optional
moving away
straps.
from the Index knuckles, but I think it's good enough that we can add the knuckles style straps ourselves. Unfortunately, there is no hand tracking on the headset, but here as well, perhaps we can add that ourselves. Now, let's talk about
Ah,
pricing.
that's interesting. So there's no hand tracking. Yeah, so there are still things that MetaQuest 3 does that the Steam VR doesn't do. It's interesting. I thought it would be like a slam dunk, but there are reasons why someone might still go for this. Of course, I'm sure someone will make a hand tracking module they can slot in the front of the Steam frame. I'm remembering the name now. But yeah, no, I guess the MetaQuest still has a few things. Even though the hand tracking is not always amazing, but it is an option. I guess it's not amazing when you're on the go, especially. That's when it's difficult. Like if you're on a moving vehicle, that's when it gets difficult, and that's when I want to use it the most. So it's kind of weird. But yeah, no, that's interesting. So we did get some information that the others did not mention.
Availability. Unfortunately, we do not know the price yet, but Valve plans to launch all 3 products in early 2026. They will be available in all the same regions the Steam Deck currently ships to, so the US, Canada, UK, EU, Australia, and as well as regions covered by Komodo, Japan, South Korea, Hong Kong, and Taiwan.
Yeah, which is damn. Yeah, I don't remember. I remember I wanted a Steam Deck, but it wasn't available before. Steam Deck. What am I saying? The VR headset. Because Switzerland is not part of the EU, it wasn't something I could buy before. So I'm wondering if it's gonna be the same issue. Of course, I could go to France or something like that and get it, but fuck. Well, let me show you, because I was wondering. Of course, there are other ways you can get it, but I thought it had become available at some point in time, but no. Even now, it still wasn't available in Switzerland, at least officially. I'm surprised that that's still the case. I thought it had become available. Let me check. Fuck, I'm getting to my limit already. Fuck my body, the hell. Yeah, let's check on one of these. This website's pretty good for that. Steam. No, Valve Index. Valve Index. Damn, I guess the Valve Index itself never became available in Switzerland. I know one of my friends, he was lucky to go to Japan on a few occasions, and he ended up buying a Steam Deck there. Oh no, but that's a Steam Deck we're talking about. Steam Decks are available in Switzerland. It's the Valve that wasn't available in Switzerland. So if they do the same thing with the new one, only problem is with guarantees and that kind of stuff. You can always buy it in another country, but if something goes wrong, what happens then? If you need to send it back for repairs. I'm glad she mentioned that. Once again, no one else mentioned even where it would be available. And in my case, of course, for most of Europe, you're good. If you're in the EU, it's good. But for Switzerland, and I wonder for England, since England's no longer in the EU. Oh yeah, UK is there already. Yeah, I know. So it was just Switzerland once again getting fucked over. Oh well. I do have the MetaQuest 3 for now. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I shouldn't just sell like the MetaQuest 3 and the PS5 and stuff like that. I will have to wait and see what actually happens in Switzerland. Because yeah, we are a special case.
Early 2026. They will be available in all the same regions the Steam Deck currently ships to, so the US, Canada, UK.
Well, if it's all the places the Steam Deck ships to, I mean, at least here you could get the Steam Deck, even in Switzerland. So if that's actually the case, of course I'll still wait because you never know. Steam Deck, let's see on the official website if it was actually possible. This item is not available in your region. So I guess this shop must be getting it from somewhere else and porting it in. But at least that would mean that I would be able to use the repair services and guarantee through this shop. Is there any other one? Yeah, into discount, Galaxies. Okay. So only if these stores decide to handle the because the Steam Deck is actually not officially available in Switzerland. So only if those stores decide to handle the Steam frame would I even consider buying it, as long as I'm in Switzerland. If I move to another country, of course, that's a different question. But if I'm still in Switzerland, then yeah, that's interesting. Very interesting.
UK, EU, Australia, and as well as regions covered by Komodo, Japan, South Korea, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. Final pricing and exact launch dates will be revealed after the start of the new year. Now, I do feel like the price could be steep, like at least $1,000.
Yeah, I have that
for just the
feeling.
headset, but considering everything you're getting,
Well, the $1,000, I think it would rather be for the console itself, for the mini PC. The headset, I think, would be a bit less expensive than that. 700 or maybe a bit
especially
less.
the open, moddable nature, this might be one of the first headsets that actually justifies it.
It does
Valve
justify
gets
it,
this
yes.
right, it's not just a headset, it's a platform. And honestly, this feels like the natural next step from the Steam Deck. I think that device tested the waters for standalone PC style gaming, and clearly people do want it, so Valve expanded on that vision with not just a headset, but a full ecosystem that works together. The Steam controller, Steam machine, and Steam frame. It all sounds cohesive and powerful. The most exciting part is, of course, their open approach. If you didn't realize yet that I'm excited about that, Valve isn't known to be locking anyone into a walled garden. Instead, they're giving us tools we can combine.
Yeah, and that's
mod
its
or
biggest
use
advantage.
however we want. That's the kind of flexibility that invites creativity. It's a rare approach in this industry, unfortunately, but it is one that could really lead to some really exciting innovations, especially from the community. Now, just a quick disclaimer, Valve noted that some specs may still change ahead of launch, so keep that in mind. And yes, I will be reviewing these devices ahead of launch, so make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss any
We'll
of
be
that
looking forward
coverage.
to that.
Also, I've got an opportunity to interview the Valve team about the Steam frame, so if you're interested, drop your questions down below if I didn't answer them already, and I'll take the best ones with me. And tell me as well, are you getting this? Why yes and why no?
I know, that was a good video. Glad I watched it. Glad they made one so early. At what price would you get these devices? I got questions for my full review. Drop it below. Our VR XR discount codes are in here. Support the channel with a small referral fee without costing you extra. Yeah, no, that's cool. Knowing Steam, the headset and controllers will be €999, and the comfort strap should come standard, such as cash grab to sell. That as a extra, I would get this at 450 maximum. That comment was a bit confusing. Okay, they're saying at what? Okay, this is what they would do maximum. This is what they believe that Steam is going to sell it for. I don't think I will. I'm more interested in the Galaxy XR, which the frame controllers would be compatible with it, but that won't happen. Wouldn't the Steam frame handle VR games the same way Steam Deck handles PC games? As in verify which existing PC VR games run well instead of waiting for brand new standalone VR games? Okay. So barely anyone is answering the question she asked there. If the frame costs more than 2,000, I'll pass. I am expecting it to be around 1,500. If it's around 1,500, that's way too much. 1,000 is the max I believe it should cost. If it's 1,500, even I wouldn't buy it unless I come into a lot of money. And right now I might be coming into a lot of money, but I would need extra on top of that before I would be willing to spend 1,500 on a VR headset. Yeah, if that's the case, I wouldn't. Valve should produce an affordable normal VR headset for PC gamers who don't need a standalone headset in order to play the PC games. Yeah, but you need a computational power for the wireless. And the other thing, the wireless for VR is the future. Not what people like this don't understand is that if you have a cable, not as many people would be willing to actually get into VR. If anything, I'm sure many people are turned off by VR because of the whole cable situation, especially when it comes to PC. It's one of the reasons I was okay with getting the Meta Quest 3, because you could play you could play like Steam VR games on the Meta Quest 3, even wirelessly. Otherwise I would not have gotten it if it was a wired VR headset, but I'm sure they could make a new model that's simply wired. 800 or less is guaranteed buy. Anything more, I'll just feel like a sucker. Might still buy it just for the weight, but I'd feel bad about paying $900 for the LCD screen. It's too bad for the LCD screen, but it was only because of the pancake lenses with an elastic strap and no headphones or anything. They could have skipped the onboard sound rather than go for the Quest style sound. They were going to use crappy audio solutions like that. Yeah, that's the thing. Isn't it? And they already had a good audio solution on the Valve Index. So it was surprising to see that they tried to change it into more streamlined. I guess they wanted it to be easier to move around with, but if the audio quality is not good, then it's useless. They did everything they could to cut costs here, and that has to mean a substantially cheaper device than the Index. Yeah, $699 would be perfect. $799 would be okay. Anything more is just Valve tax for suckers. I agree with that, honestly. Because to the Valve Index, also for most people you'd have to buy it with the trackers. And it came to about what, 700 was it? Oh, I closed them, didn't I? Let's see again. What was the price of it? Could I even see the prices? No, they didn't allow you to even see the prices. Makes sense. Since it wasn't available here. Did it start at 1,000? Brand new 4,000. Yeah, exactly. So this, and that's why I'm pretty sure it should be what, about 700. Honestly, around 700 would be the sweet spot, especially with everything they've kind of tried to scrape off. It's gonna be way less than that. They already said they're going to for a price lower than the Index. Yeah, exactly. They did say that. and the index is $1,000, where the controls themselves are $300. Yeah, just the headset itself is $499. $1,500 is the same as the Galaxy XR with two 360, 380 OLED screens, whereas the frame has the LCD screen at low resolution. Valve did everything they could to make the cheapest headset possible. If this is more than $1,000, Valve is going to be laughed out of the room. No one would buy a Quest Pro with a bad head strap for $1,500 in 2025. The pass-through camera of the frame is monochrome. They cut cost everywhere. Exactly. Yeah. The cube for 500 and 600. Thing is, it's gonna cost a bit more than that since they're selling it as a PC. I'd hope it would be 800 max, but yeah. The frame not more than 500, even if it isn't realistic. I can understand. It's official, Valve is now a main player in the console hardware space at the same time that Microsoft is doing their damnest to make Xbox obsolete. The perfect time for a new console competitor to join the market. Yeah. Yes, big news for the console market as well, for sure. Yeah. Let's see. I think the frame will be affordable just for the fact that they're using an LCD screen instead of OLED, monochrome front cameras, and the fact they're using a 2-year-old chip instead of one of the new Qualcomm XR ones means they've made some compromises to bring the price down the price. Also, I think they've learnt from the popularity of the Steam Deck that an affordable and open system is very popular, irrespective of specs that we will see. Yeah, that's the thing. Specs is not everything. And Valve understands that. Nintendo understands that, but they push it too far. As in, they could do better. I did play the Switch 2 at my brother's house, and honestly, like Donkey Kong Bonanza looks pretty damn amazing. But there are a few things that looked weird, like the vines, where like it was just a rectangle with like images stuck to it. Fuck, I'm losing my words right now, but yeah. Some things looked weird, but overall it does look good. But you can tell that the Switch 2 should have been more powerful than it is. And that's it. Time for me to return to VR. People here complaining about no OLED, but I only use the Vive, so the frame is going to blow my mind. I was hoping we would get people back into VR who were there in the OG days. Well, for me, it's only because of my current condition that I haven't been in VR. But yeah, should be back in it soon enough. 3 new devices. Yeah. I really hoped for OLED for the black levels. Yeah, but compromises. Same, but let's see. All the OLED VR headsets are pretty expensive and they do come with trade-offs. Yeah, that's the thing. There are trade-offs. There are trade-offs, always. And also I've enjoyed in the past using the Meta Quest 3 even just to watch animes and movies. Like, it's pretty damn good. The fact that they're hiding the prices of everything makes it seem like it's going to be beyond the high end of some of our estimates. I don't think it might reach 1K. I think it will easily will be that. I think it easily will be that much. Like the old headset had no onboard processing or controller tracking and had lower resolution than a 5-year-old Quest, and they were still listing it at 1K. It should have they never brought down the price, did they? I know it's going to be very, very interesting to see how it develops once the community gets their hands on it. We'll be seeing a ton of interesting use cases and mods, I think. Yeah. Another thing, this is a even if people don't jump on it immediately and they sell out, it's an ecosystem that will get better and better over time, unlike many others. Well, even the Quest 3 is getting better. Like, there are some updates, and of course, third parties making new accessories. But this one, I feel like will have a higher potential. Yeah, of course it will. There's even expandable memory, and plus the front USB-C port to which you could connect any device of your choosing. I saw the official Valve announcement and absolutely knew your channel would be my next stop. Yeah. That's so sweet to see. Thank you so much for the support. Yeah. It's pretty interesting time. Yeah, I'll add all of these as links in the
It's
description.
official.
Let's see what she says here. 19 hours
So
ago.
Valve just reviewed 3 brand new devices, the Steam controller, the Steam machine, and the one we've all been waiting for, the Steam Frame. Valve's first standalone VR headset. These are not rumors, I got the info straight from Valve. All 3 are designed to let you play your flat Steam games and PC VR titles anywhere. Streaming is a huge focus across the whole lineup. The Steam Frame is wireless, modular, and open, just like the Steam Deck, but in headset form. Snapdragon Gen 3 chip, pancake lenses, up to 144Hz refresh, Wi-Fi 7 with the dual band PC VR streaming, eye tracking with foveated streaming, and it runs your entire Steam library, flat or VR. Then there's the Steam machine, a mini PC
I
with
see. It was
serious
just a
power.
rundown
Think
of
Steam Deck,
everything.
but 6 times stronger, made for your living room and possibly travel. And the Steam controller? No drift, magnetic TMR sticks, full haptics, trackpads, and their own low latency wireless system. All 3 drop in 2026, pricing to be
Early
announced. Subscribe
2026.
for more, I'll be reviewing the devices ahead of launch, so drop your questions below.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting to my limits right now. Well, is this even, was Matteo Badowski's reaction to the announcements, and then he looks through everything. It's okay. I'll watch down my own. And as for this one, I guess he's just guessing about what it is. Yeah, it's okay. I can watch it on my own too. If I was going to choose between the two, I'd watch this one, but yeah. Unfortunately, such an amazing advert. Unfortunately, I am at my limit. Nah, not sure when it's going to get better. Maybe when I can stop taking the medicine. But yeah, no, this is a really cool idea. Of course, I don't know what kind of foam it is. If it's going to have dents within a year or two, it wouldn't be worth it. Especially at that price, but would have been cool to see if they deliver to other countries. I'll check them out. Add these to the description, and then yeah, I'll be gone. The first one was you. Read all of them. Ja, it's just share and then copy.
Was thanks.
Add all these to the description, then I'll be off. Trio. There was also one where it was specifically for the VR. Yeah. And then next was Dave 2D. And then Cass and Cherry XL. Oh wait, what am I doing? There we go. It's funny, it did. Of course, I was adding my own thoughts and stuff, but yeah, it took way longer than I thought it would. Well, then again, I say that, but I would have gone even longer if it wasn't because of how bad I'm feeling right now. Yeah, I guess, yeah, it's not a case of, oh, just throw out your Quest 3 headset and stuff like that. Although I still wish they had put expandable storage on Quest 3. It would have made it such a better product to me. But hey, this is how they decide to keep their prices as low as possible. So yeah, like I said, I'll watch those on my own. It's tempting to watch you, but yeah, no, health comes first. Alright, thanks for watching. Have a good one. And yeah, I mean, look forward to the future of gaming because it is coming. Yeah. So we have the Steam controller, the Steam machine, and the Steam frame. That's it. Steam controller, Steam machine, and the Steam frame. VR headset. Standalone VR headset. Yeah, no, I shouldn't regret getting all these things, the PS5 and all that. I mean, there's a lot I've done on the PS5. I did get to experience VR with the MetaQuest 3. Done a lot on that, and there's more things I want to do. Even some games that will be fun to play with some people in the crew, like Renemu. So yeah, no, I shouldn't regret it. It's just unfortunate for my health, I guess. That slowed me down in the projects, but there's still a lot to do. So yeah. Steam controller, Steam machine, Steam console. / mini PC and the Steam frame. Yeah. Yeah, and I put the links to the videos in the description below. I wonder if I should put the titles, but yeah, it's okay. Not the end of the world. Thanks for watching. Catch you soon, hopefully. And yeah, I guess, fuck's sake, 2 hours only. I guess it's true that some of the other streams that I did, I just pushed myself rather than my upper limit being more than 2 hours. It's just I pushed myself, isn't it? Yeah, we'll see. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Like, subscribe if you want to see more of me. And yeah, I want to get back to gaming as soon as I can. I know reactions and all that stuff is something I do from time to time, but it's not my main thing, is it? Gaming is where we want to be. We want to be on those digital seas, adventuring, fighting, exploring. Hey, soon enough, we'll get back to it. Alright, have a good one. Almost 2 hours on the dot. Thanks for watching. Uji Kami. Out.